Lots of chances here. If we're too compressed here, what ends up happening is the defending team compresses too, and now we'll make it very hard to get out. Maybe we make an error, they press the ball here. So again, we want to stay as wide as possible, even when the ball's on the we call this the strong side where the ball is. So if the ball's on the strong side, even if you're a right side player, at this point you want to be nice and wide. So we have a nice clean outlet through here. Okay. Keeper is pushed up a bit too. Same kind of a thing. If that we're in a position for counterattack, defending a counterattack if that happens. And then finally we get all the way into the box, down to the outside channels here. 9 should be the target in the box. This is where these three need to balance themselves. So if the 9 has moved towards the ball, then the 8 has an opportunity to come in. The 7 can push to the far post, and the 6 is available here for a late run. So 3 is an outlet pass. One thing we do want to consider that is I didn't mention before is if they have one player, we'd have 2 backs. That makes sense. As soon as they have another player here, we always play +1 on the back. So what would end up having to happen here is if they have 2 players here, then we're going to have to rotate a little bit where the 6 and the 10 are now covering this area, and the 3 is helping to guard this person. The reason for that is we always want to be +1. If everybody pushes up here, well, you can see the problem here, 1 against 2, and this happens, right? They get the ball out, they do a counterattack. Ball comes over here, this person runs out here, this person's uncovered, we can't recover in time, ball gets passed in, and now it's a one-on-one with the keeper. So we always want to be +1. So remember that, especially if you're at the 4 or the 5 position and they have 2 forwards. Some of the teams play a 4-4-2, so they would have 2 forwards here. Might even look like this too, but it's the same basic idea. If it looks like that, then the 6 has to stay back, and now the 2 and the 3 could play in a bit more. So it just has to be communicated. We always want to be +1 on their team. All right. If we lose possession and now we're defending, the shape changes a little bit. We start to collapse back. 7 has to drop. The 11 has to drop, and the 7 has to drop into defensive shapes. The 6, the 4 and the 5 are dropping to cover the counterattack. The 6 is holding the space here in front of the 4 and the 5. 8's now collapsing in, marking. 10's collapsing in. 9's responsible for these folks. So we're starting to collapse back. The kinds of things that happen here that are problems is that the 11 doesn't get back. 7 and 11, maybe they're all tired, so they're wandering back. Well, if they push up fast enough, this forces the 8 to move, right, which now gives them an option here. That forces the 6 to move, right, and now they have an option. They have an option here. That forces maybe the 5 to move or the 2 to move, and now you get these passes down here, and you've got 2 folks facing here. So again, positionally, it's super important to recover well, and if we can press right away when we lose possession on this side, it will really help allow us to get better organized and to start to drop off. In the midfield, you can see we start to create a little bit more shape. The 2, the 4, the 5, and the 3, they're connected. The 6 and the 8 are now back into their positions as defensive mids. The 7 is dropping back. When the ball's over here, we don't worry about the weak side player here. This would be a mistake to be covered out like that. It creates